Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are diving headfirst into what is honestly one of the most mind-blowing cosmic detective investigations we've ever covered. We're going to be taking all these fragmented, seemingly disconnected clues from entirely different universes, and we're going to piece them together right before your eyes. And what we are going to reveal is a singular, absolutely awe-inspiring cosmic truth. We're talking about decoding the absolute deepest mysteries of Comnid, Ryu-Gaea, the Jalan Masters, and Benedict's Ark. Trust me when I say the sheer scale of the lore we're unpacking in this explainer today is breathtaking. It's huge. We're dealing with overarching cosmic architecture, ancient prophecies, and a legacy so incredibly well hidden that even the Dark Lords who are hunting for it don't actually understand what they're looking at. So grab your red string and your corkboards because we are going to dive right into this.
So, let me pose a question to you. What on earth connects a rainbow, twin magical swords, and 7 ancient dragons? Now, on the surface, I know these sound like completely random elements just pulled out of a hat from totally different fantasy stories, right? You've got these elemental beasts on one hand, mythical artifacts on another, and then literally just an optical phenomenon in the sky. But I promise you, by the end of our explainer today, every single one of these disparate clues is going to lock perfectly into place. It's all going to make sense. As you'll see, every one of these things is actually expressing the exact same universal secret.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the attack on Comnid. This is the brazen strike that literally sets this whole thing into motion.
Let's just walk through the exact timeline of this strike, because the stakes here are astronomically high and things escalate incredibly fast. At 0 hours, the supposedly peaceful agricultural center of Colmanid Farms gets hit with this completely unexpected surprise attack by a terrifying coalition of dark forces led by Tristran and Gallegos. Literally just 1 hour after this attack begins, Michael, being the master strategist he is, manages to tweak this ancient tool called Protocol Lightline just to detect any further disturbances. But it doesn't stop there. 2 hours in, the situation goes from bad to worse. Rockin, a heroic protector, goes completely missing while desperately trying to defend a deeply hidden legacy. And then, by the 3rd hour, Gallegos actually lays down an ultimatum. He demands that the remaining co-protectors face him directly or he's going to start attacking the students of the academy. So this sheer overwhelming danger forces our scattered heroes into immediate action. There's no time to plan, they just have to react.
Now, to defend these farms, Michael employs a seriously brilliant mechanism, which is Protocol Limelight. On the surface, if you just look at it, it's an agricultural tool. Basically, it relies on these microscopic pores that connect the surface farms to a secret underground forest, and it allows sunlight to enter. When this sunlight hits a series of crystal lenses, diffraction occurs. It essentially bathes the whole forest below in this glorious, multicolored light that allows all these crops to thrive completely underground. But here is the absolute brilliant twist to this thing. Back in the past, during the Great War against the Dark Ninjas of Colmanid, this exact tool was a massive game changer because it amplifies and disperses light so intensely, it actually functions as a massive tactical flash bomb. It temporarily strips anyone whose powers are rooted in darkness of their abilities. It literally neutralizes them. This fascinating device doesn't just expose our villains in the present day, it actually brilliantly establishes the absolute core theme of our explainer today, which is the multifaceted, life-giving, and completely darkness-destroying power of light.
Moving right along to Section 2, the secret of the legacy. Let's talk about this deeply hidden multi-world secret.
Look at how this legacy is recorded across all these different realms. In the world of Colmnid, which is the home of the ninja, it is deeply revered as Ryujin's legacy. Then you head over to Ryu-Gaea, the land of dragon rangers, and over there it is known as the One King's legacy. That's the very thing the hero Jinrai actually abandoned his own family to safeguard. And then, aboard the Central Academy itself, it's referred to incredibly simply as the legacy of life. So here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. Our heroes start comparing notes, right? And they realize that these different names from completely isolated worlds are not actually describing different things. These isolated fragments all point to the exact same cosmic truth. They realize they are all co-protectors of a massive universal inheritance, even if none of them actually realized it at the start. It's all connected.
But here, my friends, is exactly where the villains completely misunderstand the board. Tristran, Gallegos, and the rest of the Dark Lords have all teamed up because they genuinely believe this legacy is a physical superweapon. They think it's something they can just steal and use to overthrow the realms. I mean, they found all these ancient images, right? A princess leading an army, a boy with a heart overlapping a dragon, a great ship weathering a massive storm. So in their minds, they think if they just seize this literal ship or this specific weapon, they win the game. But they are disastrously, hilariously wrong. The legacy is not a mere object. It is a living, unified force. It's actually the manifestation of a divine will that is specifically meant to give life and destroy the ultimate manifestation of death. And this fundamental, foundational misunderstanding is exactly what sets the stage for our heroes' true quest. They aren't just out to protect some shiny object. They are trying to uncover the true, living nature of the cosmos itself.
All right, Section 3, the pattern of sevens. This is where the numerical motifs start getting really crazy.
Let's follow the red thread here across 3 completely different realities, because this is where it gets spooky. First, over in Kolmnid, deep within the Temple of the Light Rue, you have this legend of 7 dragons, and these dragons represent 7 elements, which are bonded with 7 humans to form 7 great clans. Okay, that's one. Next, travel over to the history of the Jolan Masters. What do you find there? You find 7 masters who are teaching 7 cannons, guarding 7 continents against Soryu's 7 dark generals. And finally, if you listen to Zahn from the Dream City, he speaks of 7 elemental stones of sealing. You know, fire, wind, earth, time, water, lightning, and light. These 7 stones represent 7 virtues, and when they are united with the eternal mirror gate, they seal away the 7 souls of evil. It is absolutely unmistakable. The exact same blueprint of sevens is permanently stamped across universes that, quite frankly, shouldn't even know each other exist.
This brings us to Section 4, Twin Swords and Two Hearts. We have to explore these motifs of duality.
Let's compare these legendary twin blades side by side, because the parallels are just wild. In Rugeia, you have the twin Sajazian sabers, and they are wielded by the twin royal hares, Jared and Aurora. Now, Jared's blade is forged of dark mithril, which absorbs elements, while Aurora's blade is light mithril, which penetrates. They are total opposites, and yet legend says they embody the will of 2 hearts. And when they are fused together, they form the singular mythical heart saber. Now, jump all the way over to Zan's homeworld. Zan wields the Pyro Stylus, which is the fiery star blade of daylight, while his fiancée Aomi wields the Luminaires, the starry blade of night. And get this, these twin swords literally only came into existence because Zan sacrificed one of his 2 hearts, a golden heart born from his parents' crystallized tears no less, and shared it with Aomi, just to save her life. So, the swords are literally born from sharing one heart. 2 swords, 2 hearts, fusing into one single protective will. The pattern is just undeniable at this point.
And this idea of duality, it actually scales all the way up to the very architecture of reality itself. Take the Eternal Mirror Gate from Zan's world, for example. It is not just one gate, it's 2. You have the gate of Alpha and the gate of Omega. Alpha represents your ultimate beginnings, your origins, a cycle of ages and eternity. Omega, on the other hand, signifies the inevitable end to all things. This directly mirrors the history of Ryugaia, which itself is split right down the middle, between the kingdom of Novio, which represents light and wholeness, and the kingdom of Sagesi, representing wisdom that was broken by usurper. It's like every single world we look at is fractured into these opposing halves, origins and endings, broken and whole, human and divine.
So we have all these deeply fragmented, dualistic worlds, and they are seemingly just stuck. They are stuck in their separate, rigid loops of 7. You've got 7 dragons, 7 masters, 7 stones. You've got 2 opposing swords, 2 opposing gates. It really feels like all of these universes are collectively holding their breath, just waiting for something to come along and break the cycle. They are waiting for a final piece that resolves the whole paradox.
And here is the massive twist that changes absolutely everything our heroes thought they knew. The puzzle pieces do not stop at 7, and they certainly don't stop at 2. In every single one of these realms, without exception, the 7s uniquely culminate in a hidden, unifying 8th entity. It's this perfect anomaly that breaks all the rules and ties all the disparate halves into one perfect whole.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, the Grand Universal Symphony. It's time to uncover the real cosmic truth here.
To truly understand this 8th entity, we have to analyze the prophetic song known as The Heart That Destroys Darkness. The lyrics pose a massive question. They ask, what is a heart? Or rather, who is the heart, so fragile that it can be rended apart? The song then literally lists all the paradoxes we've been tracking this whole time: strong and weak, broken and whole, origins and endings, and it explicitly states that when these opposing, entirely contradictory ideals finally fuse and become one, they beckon to him, the heart, and it reveals his name, Benedict. Ryu calls him Ryujin. All the twin swords, all the broken kingdoms, all the dual gates we've talked about, they are explicitly designed to fuse into a single unified whole that manifests this divine presence.
This completely redefines exactly what our heroes are fighting for. Benedict's Ark? It is not merely a spaceship. It's not just the great educational complex they attend every day. The Academy is merely an allegorical expression. The true Benedict's Ark is the manifestation of Benedict's will. It is the heart itself. And think about it. What is the fundamental purpose of a heart? It is incredibly simple, yet completely profound. A heart exists to give life. And by actively giving life, it naturally destroys the greatest manifestation of death, which is the ultimate villain of our story, Armageddon. The Ark is the literal fusion of the broken parts of all worlds into one immensely powerful, unified force.
But you might be wondering, how does this fusion actually work structurally? Well, the answer actually comes from the most unlikely, frankly humorous source imaginable, a terrible doodle drawn by Harry Bain, who is the mythical 8th Jolin Master. When our heroes first look at his sketch, they initially laugh. I mean, it's this seemingly absurd, totally unskillfully drawn sketch of a rainbow, but it's got metal lightning rods and mechanical air vents just jutting right out of it. It looks completely ridiculous. But when Ryu and Zan, our brilliant wayfinders, actually sit down and analyze it, they realize this childlike doodle is literally the ultimate key to understanding the cosmos.
Let's decode this doodle brilliantly together because it is genius. The rainbow arcs represent 7 layers of ionized air, acting as a multi-layered defense dome. The lightning rods jutting out, those are conductors, explicitly meant to take a foe's attack and channel it inward. And the air vents exist to adjust the wavelength of the air inside to completely neutralize the incoming attack. So when you put 7 arcs, conducting pipes, and wavelength vents together, what does it function exactly like? A musical organ. It's an instrument. The 7 arcs are the musical keys. The rods are the pipes. When they are all played together, the resulting unified orchestration is the 8th entity. The universe isn't just a cold mechanical machine, it essentially operates like a massive, perfectly tuned musical instrument.
And just notice how rapidly these mind-bending connections fire off once you see the pattern. Think about it. Step 1, 7 individual colors form a rainbow, but the whole, unified rainbow itself is a distinct entity. It is an 8th color. Step 2, as Tanya points out, the sound Ryu's musical scale is built on 7 notes, right? But it always culminates in an 8th note that both completes and restarts the octave. And step 3, Zan realizes that in his homeworld there are exactly 8 planets orbiting a central sun. Rujin, the 8th and final saint, is both human and dragon. He represents all 7 elements perfectly, yet he is his own entirely unique being. He is the sun, he is a planet dwelling with his creation, and he is the entire solar system all at the exact same time.
And then, the absolute final cascading realization drops. Ryu looks closely at the actual students chosen to be aboard the Ark. There are exactly 6 deviant students and 6 honor students bound together by fate. Okay, that's 12. And when you look at the wider cast overall, there are 12 honor students and 12 deviant students in total. That equals 24. 12 hours of daytime, 12 hours of nighttime, coming together in perfect balance to form the 24 hours of a single unified cosmic day. The students themselves, just through their bonds and their very existence, literally form a perfect cosmic clock. Their very lives, their daily struggles, are the actual gears of Benedict's Ark.
Which brings us to the ultimate beautiful realization of this entire explainer. The legacy isn't some super weapon you can just hold in your hand. The legacy is the realization that despite being completely broken, despite being separated by vast amounts of darkness, time and space, every single element, every twin sword, every dragon, every student is a vital, irreplaceable note in the grand Universal Symphony. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final, memorable question to ponder. If the universe itself is truly a carefully composed symphony, orchestrated by the heart to destroy the darkness, what part are you meant to play in its unending song? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and keep connecting those dots.